I have to tell you, my grandma I did this with my grandma when we get dropped off, and she taught us how baking soda and vinegar, and we had so much fun. I can't tell you how many volcanoes I survived.
If Grandma taught you, do you want to join me in the kitchen? So you want to teach the science class today?
I won't teach, no. No, I never said
Mr. Caller.
I'm not saying she taught me. I just said we did it together. She never explained it to us.
Well, I mean, before we get started with the science lesson, we really should start with some wow, right?
Yes. Okay.
This is that classic experiment that everyone does in grade school.
Yep.
It's the baking soda and vinegar volcano. Here it goes.
Look at that.
Wow. Was there glitter in there?
Of course there was.
I see glitter.
Of course.
Oh my God, there is glitter. Oh my gosh, there is glitter.
I love you, Dan, for that.
I wish I would have thought of that.
Marky, look at that. There's glitter in there.
Did your grandma do it with glitter?
That was sacrilegious in our house.
Oh.
We put glitter in a volcano.
You would have been in trouble.
That was awful.
So
cool.
this is that classic experiment, and we all, look, Mark said he did it as a young child. I bet everyone at this counter has done it at some point, right?
I love how
Never knew how it worked, though.
Look
Yeah,
at that.
I think a lot of times we don't actually investigate these things. So the constituent parts to this experiment are baking soda and vinegar. Do we know what baking soda and vinegar are, though?
No.
Sodium bicarbonate.
There we go. So baking soda has been around for so long, we have evidence of it in Egyptian hieroglyphics. And because of that, it actually has gone through a lot of names. Baking soda, cooking soda, bread soda, sodium bicarbonate, and the most interesting of all names is saleratus, which is what we called it for most of the 19th century.
Sounds like a Latin word.
It comes from two Latin words, in fact, and it gives us a clue as to what baking soda actually is. The two words are sal, salt, and aeratus, aerated. Aerated salt. Now, a lot of times we think of a salt as table salt, the thing we flavor things with. But salt is actually a chemistry term, and a salt is the resulting chemical compound from a neutralization reaction between an acid and a base.
Oh, I knew that.
Of course.
I thought assault was a crime.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. Thank you.
I just thought it was.
Now, this is an aerated salt, which we saw from here. That reaction with vinegar releases air. What is the air? Well, first of all, vinegar is acetic acid, and when acetic acid meets sodium bicarbonate, it releases carbon dioxide. So here's a really fun experiment that you can do at home. This is what I've got here. Just a little bag, plastic bag. You're going to fill it partway with vinegar. Thank you for the sound effects. Thank you.
Just fill in the dead space.
And I've got just a piece of Kleenex that I filled with 3-4 tablespoons of baking soda. Now you want to be.
What's gonna happen?
You want to move quickly here. You want to move quickly here because again we.
You want to move quickly.
You want to move quickly. Yeah.
Move quickly.
You can move away quickly. I close half the bag, stuff in that baking soda,
Oh.
And
zip it.
stand back.
give it a shake. So that to me actually demonstrates the chemistry a little more than this, because what we saw first was the bag inflating, and the bag inflates with carbon dioxide. So in a chemical reaction, you're mixing two different elements, right? So we're mixing sodium bicarbonate and we're mixing acetic acid. When they combine, they actually become sodium acetate, H2O, water, and carbon dioxide. So there's three completely new things there.
So you're creating water.
You're creating compounds. H2O is out of that.
Oh, yeah? Well, I helped create life.
Why can't they do that in solid route?
Yeah.
I did.
Now,
I
the
have my
last
say
way
in
we're
it.
going to investigate this this
Well,
reaction.
he threw me under the bus early segment. I just want to try to get back at it.
There's no getting back on this bus, Mark. We already moved on down the street.
Okay, got it.
Now, in front of you, you all have a glass of vinegar and a baking. Don't drink this.
We're like children.
And a baking soda ice cube. So why don't you drop that ice cube in there?
Baking soda ice
Baking
cube.
soda
What is
ice
that?
cube. Now you'll see that the vinegar.
I got nothing.
Yeah, it's a
you're
very
good.
slow. It's going to be a very slow reaction.
Like Alka-Seltzer.
Now here we go. Slowly, we're starting to get bubbles.
Look at mine.
Now, if you want to,
It's like beer.
it is. Now, the best way to explore how a reaction is changed by temperature.
You're a little
here's-
slow,
yeah.
girl.
Yeah, but I won that
So this
thing,
one's
so it
cold.
felt good.
This is what happens when the reaction is cold. Here's what happens when the reaction is hot.
Oh, wow.
You see, and the things happen faster when they're hot.
Floor, Christina.
The reason yours is slower is because when you heat something up, heat is energy, right? So when you add energy to something, particles start to move more quickly. And the faster particles move, the more they're going to collide with other chemical compounds. So the vinegar was close to a boil, which means those particles have a ton of extra energy. And I'm adding this extra compound. So because they're already running around, they hit that sodium bicarbonate so much more quickly than yours, which is slow to go, especially Leslie's.
So when you're baking and you add baking soda in something, if you added an acid to it, is that what makes the cake rise?
Indeed, it's one of the reasons. So when we bake, one of the reasons we use baking soda, and there might be lemon juice or there might be buttermilk, there might be an acid in your recipe.
Yeah.
So what's happening when you mix that batter, you're actually getting bubbles forming, and the goal is to get that batter in the oven before they've completely dissipated.
Exactly.
So that the dough solidifies around it, and then that hot air expands and rises the cake.
So which is why buttermilk pancakes, buttermilk waffles are theoretically
Because buttermilk is
fluffier
an
and
acid.
lighter.
That makes it floofy.
And why once you mix your wet and dry, you need to get in the oven
You
as
have to
quickly
get it
as
right
possible.
away.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Light bulb. Ding, ding.
The more you know, Ken.
Grandma Steinus knew all of this. Well, before.
She just didn't bother
It
to
didn't
teach.
rub off on you.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Instructions are on our Pinterest page.
fascinating. Thank
I got to get back at you for that one. Visit DanRenegadeKitchen.com. Some wondrous stuff there. We're going to come back, and Jeanette, you are in the hot seat, my dear. You got some answers for our questions.
Saving
Yes,
us
I
money.
do. I'm going to answer your questions to save you money.